Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to watch the video and hang out with me for a little bit. Really appreciate that. And guys, I have a confession to make today. I'm going to make the confession in today's video. Going to let you guys know about something that's going on here. I think you guys will get a lot better understanding about some of my fishing habits and everything after you hear this video, so we'll get into that today. Also, guys, I just wanted to extend a big thank you before we get started for me and my family, for everybody out there that's been using all the links I put in every video description. If you guys are one of the viewers that go into my links and use all the stuff there, like my Tackle Warehouse links, big thank you, because you're really helping keep the channel on YouTube, and really appreciate that very much. Okay, guys, started out here. Let me get into this. When I was in kindergarten, we had classes on coloring, where you learned your colors. And I could never get it. I could never understand or get the colors. It's like, I would say, I'd point to one color and I'd say, that's green. And my teacher would say, no, Randy, that's not green, that's brown. And then I'd point to another color and I'd say, that's blue. And then my teacher would go, no, Randy, that's not blue, that's purple. And I just thought I wasn't very smart. I just thought, well, God, I just can't get colors. I don't understand colors. And I realized as the years went on, about 10 years later, that I'm colorblind. And I am. And it was brought to your attention today because, guys, I did a video this morning on jig colors, like the 2 best jig colors. And apparently I held up a green jig that was I put up a green jig that I thought was brown, because I can't tell the difference between them, guys. A brown and green pretty much looks the same to me. Just like here's another example. If I go, if a green light comes on, like at a stoplight, it doesn't look green to me, it looks white. So from that standpoint, I'm colorblind. You know who else was colorblind? A fisherman, Aaron Martins. Aaron and I talked all the time about it. He was colorblind as well. So the point is, like, if I do some of these videos like I did this morning, and I hold up a lure color and said, I really like this brown jig, this is my favorite jig, that's because it looks brown to me. So it's not necessarily about and we're talking about fishing here, it's not necessarily about the specific color, but it's about the shade. Because when I hold up a brown jig or a green jig, that is a natural color. I know that's not a black jig. I know it's not a purple jig, but I may not be able to differentiate the difference between, like, certain shades of brown and certain shades of green, or certain shades of blue, or certain shades of purple. When I tie up a jig skirt and I put what I think is blue, material in it, it could be purple. I don't know, but I know what works. That's the thing about it. So this is one of the things about bass fishing, is don't get caught up on specific type of colors that much. Get caught up more on shades, because when we talk about greens and browns and different type of colorations of greens and browns, there is a little bit difference to that. Because, say for example, when I see green, guys, this is how I can identify green. Is like grass in the month of May, like when grass is real fresh and it's getting a lot of water, it's that bright green color. But like if you took that jig that I held up this morning in the video I did on the jig, and you put it next to a blade of green grass in the month of May, it doesn't look the same. It's like a different shade. At least to me it is anyway. So the main thing about that, and I guess the big picture with that, is like, it hasn't really affected my fishing that much. I've still been able to catch a lot of fish and do good in tournaments throughout my career by being colorblind. Same with Aaron Martins. We'd get a bunch of worms out or something together, and we didn't know what color they were. It's like, are those blue? Are those purple? Is that a green weenie worm? Is that a brown jig? We didn't know, but we do understand shades. And that's what you have to understand with bass fishing, is bass react to shades more than what they do to specific colors. And we always try to look at the lens of a lure color through our eyes, and we don't really know what they are to a bass. I hear a lot of people say, well, bass can't tell colors, this or that, or they see a certain color. It's like, we don't really know that. We can't talk to a bass and say, what color is this, Mr. Bass? People that I have seen on, quote, scientific studies with that, they say that, but I haven't found it to be true, because I have found it in bass fishing to be where bass definitely prefer certain colors over the others, without a doubt. And I think that's in terms of shade more. And it's the fact that we don't really understand how a color looks to a bass in their own eyes in different conditions. Because if you have, 6 inches of visibility or 5 foot of visibility, or if you have a cloudy day or sunny day, all that's going to throw off a different look to the color of the fish. Or if the lure is in 2 foot of water versus 20 foot of water, it all looks different. So color to a large degree is a big mystery in bass fishing, what works and what doesn't. And ultimately you just sort of have to experiment. But back to the video, guys, today, it's like on my live rubber jig and my Blaukat throwback jig, I can't tell the difference between green and brown on it. I know they both work, and I know the color of trailers that I work on both of them, but the only way that I can differentiate sometimes is the head, because this is what happened. I called up the owner of Cumberland Pro Lures, who makes my Blaukat throwback jig, and I go, I think we got a problem here. I said, I think you put some dark brown heads on a, I thought you put a black head on a green pumpkin, or on a brown skirt on one of my jigs. And he tells me back, he goes, no, Randy, he goes, that's a dark brown head on your brown jig. And I thought he put a black jig on my brown jig, and then I thought that he had a brown head on my on another one. I thought he was mixing them up between a black head and a brown head, but in actuality I had it all mixed up. I didn't know any different. So anyway, that's my confession, guys, to make. I am colorblind and about bass fishing. But like I said, don't read too much into it, because it's not going to affect your success that much. So anyway, I hope you guys are well. We'll talk later.